Hi, I'm Rita. Welcome back to my booktube channel, Life Worth Reading. So today I'm doing the Unpopular Opinions book tag. This tag was created by the Book Archer, and I'll make sure to leave that original video down below. And I was tagged by the wonderful Katie over at Katie Can't Read, so I'll make sure to leave her video down below as well. Thank you so much to Katie for tagging me in this one. This sounds like a very fun tag and I'm excited to do it, so go ahead and subscribe to Katie, watch her videos, just support her because she's one of the most wonderful people in the book community. And yeah, like, what are you doing with your life if you're not subscribed to her already? And I think that's all I gotta say. I didn't want to do a disclaimer for this because this is literally called the Unpopular Opinions book tag, so I feel like we all know what's about to happen. And I'm perfectly okay with people disagreeing with me. Like, I disagree with a lot of things that I do see. And I don't mind people telling me that they disagree with me as long as people do it nicely. So if you have something to say, if you don't agree with a book that I don't like or a character that I don't like, you can let me know, but just do it nicely in the comments because there's no need for people to get angry over opinions. You know, like, there's no disrespect here. There's just opinions. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. So let's just get started. Question 1. We're starting with a banger. What is a popular book or series that you didn't like? To start off this question, I'm going to talk about 2 books that I still have. I have no idea why I still have these books. I think that I have to unhaul them soon because they're just wasting space on my shelves. But the first one is Dark Clover by J.R. Ward. This is a very, very, very popular like fantasy romance series about vampires. You know, like a spicy fantasy romance. And I was tricked into reading this because that's exactly what I thought it would be. I thought it'd be just a steamy, spicy vampire book. And it was just so not that. I'm not even talking about the plot not being good and the characters being boring and bland. The amount of misogyny in this book, and this was written by a woman, so the amount of like girl on girl hate that this book has is just like astonishing to me. How a woman could write such negative things about other women, especially sex workers, that talk about sex workers and prostitutes and just all those women is disgusting. I don't know what J.R. Ward was thinking when she wrote this book to write so negatively about sex workers, but it did not vibe with me at all. I don't get why this book is so popular. The sex scenes weren't even good, the plot wasn't even good, and on top of that, the amount of like woman hate that goes on in this book and the amount of negative self-talk about like sex workers and such just did not agree with me, and I did not like it. So this book was not good, and I don't get why the hell this is so popular when it's just so trash. And the other one that I have is Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami. I have 2 Haruki Murakami books. There is only 2 that I've read. I have Sputnik Sweetheart that I did enjoy. It was okay. And then I bought Norwegian Wood a few years ago, and it was right when I got back into reading, like 3 years ago or something. And I really, really, really didn't like this book. I don't get why this is one of his most popular novels. The content in this book is so disturbing. The mental health rap is so atrocious. The misogyny in this book as well, like the way that he wrote like women characters and like men characters talking about women in this book was just so disgusting. And just, yeah, like the mental health rap was terrible, and everything in this book just disturbed me so bad. I don't get why so many people love this book. I really just don't know, and I need to unhaul this soon because this book really bothered me, and I still don't understand why he's like his most famous novels. But we move on. Other than that, I guess The Starless Sea by Anne Morgenstern, which I actually do have on my shelves and I need to unhaul that as well. I didn't really like that book. Okay, I really didn't like that book, but it's very, very popular and a lot of people love it. What else? The Folk of the Air trilogy, I don't like. I didn't really like the world building, the plot, the characters. There was nothing. The only thing that it was like bingeable, it was very like easy to read, so I guess in a way it was entertaining, but I just really didn't like that book. And I honestly just don't understand the hype around it. I really don't. But I think that I'm gonna stop there and let's just move on to the next question. The second question is a book or a series that everyone hates but you love. I don't think there's a lot of them. I'm not usually on that side of the spectrum just because I don't know. I mean, I can like series or books that other people don't like, but I generally don't love them. But I feel like the only one that I have is Shiver by Mike Seawater. I've been talking about this book a lot because it's my favorite book when I was younger, and I'm about to reread it, and I'm gonna vlog my experience rereading this. And I feel like a lot of people, probably rightfully so, don't like this book or think it's trashy. And you know what? They're probably right. But this is my favorite book when I was younger, and I feel like this is a book that everyone else doesn't like and that I used to really, really love. The third question is a love triangle where the person ended up with another one that you didn't want them to, or an OTP that you don't like. For the love triangle, I feel like I'm gonna talk about a book that still doesn't have a sequel, so we're still on the first book. So this is not spoilers because I also don't know where this love triangle is headed, but I'm gonna talk about Legendborn by Tracy Dion. So if you haven't read that book, or if you don't want to know anything about the book, please do skip ahead a little bit. But the thing about Legendborn is that I really like Bree with Selwyn. I think that's how you say his name. I like Nick, but he's just so boring in comparison because in my opinion, why go for a human boy when you can have a demon? You know what I mean? And so I also don't know where it's headed, but right now she is with Nick, and I don't know, I just feel like I like Selwyn more. Like, he's a more complex character, he's more interesting, and even though that they're like on opposite sides, he was never like truly mean to her. There was never like just being bad and mean and bullying for no reason. So I feel like I like their opposite dynamic and the way that they're rivals kind of, but not like hateful towards each other, you know what I mean? So I'm really into them, and I hope that they do get together. And also, I have a very, very unpopular opinion about An Ember in the Ashes, so let's talk about it. I like Helen, and I want Helen and Elias to get together. Sue me, okay? Sue me. I love Helen. She's clearly on the wrong side of the war. She's clearly on like the wrong side of things here, but I love her. She's such a complex character. She's so interesting to read about. She's so strong. Like, she's very strong, and I love it. And I think that they have the perfect dynamic that could really, really work because they were friends to rivals to what I would hope would be lovers. And if that just doesn't sound amazing, I don't know what does, because like it's the best of both worlds. They were friends first, then they turn to rivals, and then they become lovers. I think that just sounds amazing, and I'm gonna talk about it in the next question, but I don't really like Laya. So I want Helen and Elias to be together. I am in complete denial that they're not together yet. I know that they're probably not going to be together, so I am in complete denial, but I still haven't read the third and fourth book because I dislike the second book so bad. But yeah, I'm low-key in denial about it. In my head, they're canon, and I want them to be together, and that's it. That's all I have to say. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but that's just my opinion. The fourth question is a popular genre of books that you don't read or that you don't reach for. For me, that's sci-fi. I'll say it every day. I don't like sci-fi. I can't read sci-fi. I can't understand shit of sci-fi. And that's pretty much it. I even DNF'd This Is How You Lose a Time War, which is about time traveling lesbians. Like, have you ever seen a concept more appealing? There's not a concept more appealing than that. And I still DNF'd it because I couldn't understand shit of what was happening. So sci-fi really ain't for me, and maybe one day it'll be, but right now it's the genre that I just don't read ever. The next question is a popular beloved character that you don't like. I mean, like I said, Leia, however you say it, I don't like her. I love the representation in An Ember in the Ashes, and I love the setting. I love just everything about this book, the first one at least, but I just don't like Leia. She's not an interesting main character to me. I don't root for her. She's kind of annoying in my opinion, so I really don't stand her. And yeah, she's just not the character for me. So, and I know that she's very beloved because like she's literally the one of the main characters of the series, but it really ain't for me. And in a more like throwback thing, if you're in the Hunger Games fandom and you like this character, I'm very, very sorry, but I hate Gale. Gale can choke. He was annoying. He was boring. He became a war criminal. Hey, like a literal war criminal. And I just hate him. And he should have died. He should have died. He was important to move the plot along. Fine. People that like friends to lovers or childhood friends to lovers, fine. But I hate Gale. I will always hate Gale. There's nothing there for me. Not even Liam Hemsworth. Like he didn't do it for me. Gale doesn't do it for me, and I hate his stupid face. So I just got very heated talking about this, and I don't understand why. But I just really don't like Gale, okay? But Gale stands. If you disagree with me, I'm very, very sorry. I'm a PETA girl all the way, so sorry about that. The next question is a popular author that you don't like. Holly Black, like I've said, the Folk of the Air trilogy really wasn't for me. I didn't really like her writing or her world building. Who else? V. Schwab, I always say this. I don't really like V. Schwab. I love her concept. I love her story ideas. Like every time that I hear about a book from hers, I'm like, yes, this book sounds incredible. And then I read it and I'm like, this was average. Like it's always lacking for me. Like it never goes where I want it to go. It never achieves the potential that I think that her stories hold. So she's really not the author for me. Rory Power, I didn't really like. I read Burn Our Bodies Down last year and I didn't really like it, so I haven't read anything more from that author. Haruki Murakami, like I've said, there are probably a lot more, but I can't remember any others right now, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Then we have the 7th question that is a book trope that you're tired of seeing. For me, especially in YA fantasy, because I don't read a lot of contemporary, so like mostly YA fantasy, I'm tired of dead parents. Please, I am so tired of dead parents. Like, why do they always have to be dead? Like, why can't we give our favorite main characters a good support system? You know? Why? I mean, there are some that I get. For example, like in Six of Crows, fine. Shadow and Bone, fine. But you know, like that's the thing. Like in every single YA fantasy that I read, nobody has a life parents, and I know you can't have it all. Not everybody has a good support system, but I want good support systems for my favorite characters 2021. There's no reason, I guess, that it's easier to make the parents go away so that the kids can go on adventures, but there could be other ways to do it, you know? There could be other ways. I don't know. Man, I just want a life parents for my favorites, okay? Like that's all I want. And I'm also very, very tired of girl hate. I'm tired. I don't like girl hate anymore. I don't like girls being excluded from other friends group for not liking the same stuff. I don't know. I just want my favorite characters to be happy. I want them to have friends. I want found family elements where there's no girl hate. And that doesn't mean that they can't be rivals sometimes, because not everybody's gonna like each other. And that's perfectly fine. Like me thinking about, for example, Zoya and Alina in the Shadow and Bone trilogy. Like, it's okay when sometimes there's someone that's a rival to you. Like, it's also not realistic that every single girl is gonna, like, be best friends. But I am tired of the overwhelming girl hate that goes on in books. Like, just give me good found family elements with, I don't know, like, with girl best friends. Like, just give me... And I know that it's coming out a lot more. Like, there's a lot more books recently that have come out with a lot of girl support, which I love. So, yeah, I'm tired of the old book trope of, like, girl on girl hate, and I'm just glad that we're moving on from that, quite honestly. And I guess, like, an old one that I don't think anybody likes, but I don't like insta love either. I don't like when a love interest appears just to be a love interest and there's, like, nothing else going on with him or her besides being a love interest. It's like, you know, like, let's give characters better, more complex backgrounds, and let's give them something more than just existing for the sole purpose of, like, entertaining the main character. Yeah, like just like I guess overall, like bland and one-dimensional side characters I'm tired of, because there are a lot of books where I actually love the side characters more than the main characters. And so I feel like it's time that we give side characters a little more substance, you know? I think that those are probably the most that I'm tired of. And the final question is, what is an adaptation, either a series or a movie, that you prefer over the book? I don't think there's any single one that I prefer over the books. Katie, very rightfully so, mentioned Catching Fire, and I absolutely wholeheartedly agree. Catching Fire, the second book in the Hunger Games trilogy, if you don't know, I read it for the first time last year. It became one of my all-time favorite books. I love that book with all my heart. I think it was incredible. And the movie, like, impeccable. Like, it's beautiful. And there's only one thing that I love in the movie more, and that is Finnick. Much into Finnick, and him being portrayed by Sam Claflin is something that can be very personal to me. And so that's probably one thing that I love more in the movie. But when I read the books, I imagine him anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference. But Catching Fire, beautiful piece of cinema, beautiful piece of media in general. I love it with all my heart. That's pretty much it. And I feel like it's finally time that we talk about how fun the Percy Jackson film was. I'm not talking about the second, but the second one was bad. But it's time, okay? Like, I know that in terms of an adaptation, it's a bad adaptation given the original content of the book. But the movie is so fun, okay? And Logan Lerman's supremacy all the way. And so, yeah, I feel like it's time that we finally acknowledge that that movie is fun as hell. And I don't know, it's quite different from the book, obviously, but I really do like that movie. So I feel like it's time to all step out of the high horse. And now that there's going to be like an actual good adaptation of Percy Jackson, I feel like it's time that we separate this and just think of the Percy Jackson film as a really fun film. All right, I think that that's it. What else do I have to say? I don't think I have anything more to say. I don't think I have any other people to piss off with this book, so I'm just going to wrap this up. So thank you again, Katie, for tagging me in this one. And for my tags, if I forget someone, I'm gonna put it in the description, so make sure to check out all the channels I mentioned. But Jayla of Rilla Loves Lit, my bestie. Summer, also my bestie over at Book Times. I'm gonna leave it in the description, all their channels. Kitty from Kids Bugs. Yasmin from Yasmin Be Reading. Who else? I've honestly just blanked, but I'm gonna leave everyone that I want to tag in the description below. Oh, Mafalda from Mafalda's Reading. If she wants to do this, that would be really fun to see. And yeah, I'll probably remember more people to put in the description, but for now, that's it. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content, and I'll see you in my next video. I hope you have a nice day, and always remember that life is worth reading.